Fishing.
89 fly fishing.
Welcome to Knee Deep Fly Fishing. Hey everybody, this is Micah with Knee Deep Fly Fishing, and today I'm gonna tie a little spearing fly. Some guys call them Silversides. I think a lot of people confuse them with sand eels. I think it works for a sand eel, but it's definitely a different little fish. When you're fishing the rocks by the jetties, you see a lot of these little guys schooled up, and it's a good fly to fish right in the rocks, especially at night around docks. You got a lot of light or a little light, they'll congregate. We just spent some time last weekend fishing them like we were fishing for trout in the seams, and we were catching bass. Had a little flow coming out of a bay into the inlet, into the channel, fishing from the rocks. It seems like the closer we got to the rocks, the better we did. It's pretty simple, 3 or 4 materials. I got a long shanked hook here. I typically like a little shorter hook, but this is what I got laying around. So we're gonna get cracking. I'm tying in 4 or 5 strands of flash that I'm gonna use just to build up a little bit of a body, cover my hook shank. I'm actually gonna use my bob and rest today, so I don't have to hit the camera with stuff. See how that works out on video. So I started in the front. I'm wrapping this backwards. It's all gonna get covered with epoxy, so this will become a lot more durable than it would normally be. That bob and rest is going to get in the way here. Give that a snip. And then I'm going to flip it over. This is where a rotary vise really comes in handy. Give the camera a good shake. And I'll wrap this around my thread. Use my thread, guide it in on what's now the bottom of the hook. The top of the hook was the bottom, is now the top. And I'll just split these so it comes around the hook shank. Give it a couple more wraps. It's okay to have a kind of a fat head as you go here. I like to use a thinner thread. This is 8/0, like some of you might use for trout flies. I think it works pretty well. As usual, got to keep my voice low. Everybody's sleeping down in the back cave doing work. So I got about 4 strands of crystal flash, whatever kind of pearled flash you got will get the job done. Tie that straight back here. This will be sandwiched in between our top color. I'm going to do this one in a chartreuse. The material I'm using here is like an EP fiber. This is the competitor, the Congo hair. It's pretty good stuff. It's got a lot of colors. It's got an easy to navigate website. I like it. Tighten up again so I don't hit the camera. Got some loose ends in there, it's okay. I'm going to fold this backwards. Help build up a little bit of a head. Otherwise it would be pretty skinny up front. Alright, we're getting there. We're getting there. It's starting to look like a fly, huh? I like to leave all these fibers long. Kind of clip them out of the way as I'm tying. Our last material I'm going to add is just some old school tinsel, like a lot of you might have used doing freshwater streamer bodies where you might make a rib. And I'm going to tie this along the sides here. The spearing have a very pronounced silver stripe headed down there. Follows their lateral line. I like to give it a turn so I can see what I'm doing here. If you tie this in and it's not coming out super straight, it's not laying flat against the side of the fly, you can kind of pull on it, pick it up, pull it up or down, whichever way it needs to go, and then give it a couple more wraps, tighten up on it. This is the tying portion here is done. We're gonna use a UV resin for the next few steps here. I like the Silversides thin, just to build up the beginnings of my body. One of these days I'm going to get it all over my camera lens. But I like to just start on one side, start near the head, work this in. I like to kind of pull up on everything too. Get it up off the hook shank. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to put a few layers of good stuff on here. Hit it for a couple seconds with the light. That'll seal it up. It's going to be a little skinny guy here. I think the Silversides is easy to work with, cures real fast. The thin stuff is fairly tack free. You can wipe it down with a alcohol wipe, or what I like to do is cover it with the Bone Dry, which is this brush on that we'll use in the end here. This next layer I'm going to do is with the thick formula. Build up our head a little more. Don't go nuts on the head because we're going to put eyes on there. Mine right there where I've got some material sticking out. Not worried. If I was real picky, I could take a little razor blade, knock that off right there. Then when I come back with my thin, when I put these eyes on, smooth it all out. Stick an eye on, you can see it right there. It's already peeling off. You'll see how this builds up real fast. Some little eye bubbles. Put just a dot on there. Smear it back and forth, seal it up. Ooh. I always keep a post-it note on my table here where I set the caps. The tips of these dispensers get kind of goopy, and I like to have a nice place to put the caps, and they can kind of drain out a little bit as I go, as they're sitting there. You can see a little puff of smoke there. I zapped that one a little close, a little too long initially. I'm finding that when you're first setting this resin, a quick blast of the light seems to be the best, and then let it kind of cool off on its own for a second. Those are fairly in line. And then hit it again, with a little more light after. when you really load these up, especially with this thin, these eyes can kind of float away on you. So just a little dab, don't touch them too much, and then hit it with the light. I'll smooth this body out with a little bit of the thin stuff here. Ooh, it's looking good. It's got that transparent baitfish look already. I love it. If I was a fish, I'd gobble this up. You notice I'm going past the hook bend there. That'll help with tail wrap, my bag casting, the whole 9 yards. Spin this around a little here. Move some of this stuff. We're getting there. We're getting pretty smooth. Got a little divot right here. Getting old. Might be time for some thicker glasses. Hey, he looks pretty good. Maybe we'll fill in this little spot right here. This is pickiness for the fly box team here, but you know, I don't think the fish care. This thing could be lumpy and full of stuff sticking out. Once it's got that nice shape, I think you'd be in business. So you can fish with this right now. You could wipe it down with an alcohol wipe. What I like to do is use this bone dry. Comes in a little brush bottle. And I'll say that I've heard mixed reviews. I love this stuff. I use it on my trout flies instead of head cement now. Use it when I'm tying on clouds or eyes, that kind of thing. Hit it with the light. They're not going anywhere. They're not going to spin on the hook. If you whack a tree branch or something, hit a rock. Nice and smooth. It's like glass. You can bang it against the vise. You can hear. It's not like that old school epoxy where it's soft and rubbery forever. This stuff is magic. So now I'm going to fluff this tail out a little bit here, and then I'm going to come at it from the back end here. Give it some trimming. Ruthless. I want this little guy to be skinny. Get in there like your barber. Like your barber after a long striper season. You haven't been in there in a while. Really got to start chopping, cleaning things up so your wife can take you out to dinner. That looks pretty great. There it is. That's my little spearing fly. It's basically a surf candy with a little line running down it, and some new tricks with new epoxies and that kind of thing. I hope you enjoyed. Check out Knee Deep Fly Fishing at www.kneedeepff.com. And if you see us down at the beach, hop on the jetty rocks there, say hi. Otherwise, we'll see you on the trout streams.